The last city on Earth.
What's up guys, this is Girls the Gamer and I'm coming at you with some news about Frostpunk and some DLC. The developers have actually been listening to the community and they've been working out some new ways how they can tie in our ideas with their own to come up with new interesting scenarios to further develop the game and increase its playability. They also did some hot fixes to the software and some patches to make the game run better, to correct some resolution issues and so forth as it relates to playing and ensuring that you have a very good experience. Now currently there are 3 modes in the game. You have the regular campaign mode, make a new home, and then there's the Ark and the refugees, all of which are excellent modes. I in another video mentioned some stuff that I would like to see the developers work on, and I also spoke about some other issues that I saw in the playthrough, but the things that I noticed, they weren't really issues, more say things that you know you want more. So it's not really an issue. It's the fact that yes, we managed to complete the game all the way to the end where we build up our city and everything works out, and about 400 to 600 something people survive the Frostland, and you're able to continue on to the next playthrough. But what I'm really getting at is the ability almost like City Skylines, but I don't want Frostpunk, and I hope it never is the same as City Skylines, but maybe it can take a few elements from it, like the ability to continuously upgrade your city. And what I was saying in a video I released the other day is that in addition to being able to build out your city, maybe from the creation of the beacon, the researching of it, and then from that research you're able to expand into something else where you're into the Frostland now because the beacon is built and able to explore more. Maybe they could add the same thing to almost like a global view, so you can build airships, because if you play the refugees and you explore further out nearing to the ships, there is a wreckage of some aircraft, some form of aircraft that was used before the frost really took over and everything got destroyed before the lords really came in. And there's also additional information about 2 bodies, or it having 2 pilots that would use this machine to traverse the Frostland. So all of these little elements that the developers have actually snuck in, and if you really look through the game, you'll actually find them. So you have that plus the intro of the make a new home, as I would call it, the first campaign before everything else is unlocked, where there's a large airship in the background. So there is potential of the steampunk era along with that to create some unique gameplay and some more unique stories. So a lot of people in the threads in the community on Steam have been talking about a sandbox mode. I would say more of not a sandbox mode, but a scenario sandbox mode, or a civilization survival mode, where you have a combination of everything. So you have a little bit of the refugees, a little bit of the Ark, a little bit of the regular mode, a diverse weather system. So spring is a possibility, you have winter and you have autumn, and the storm fluctuates throughout those times, where it can be intense, it can be just an average storm, and it can be minor. And so these little elements are good for the development of Frostpunk, because then adding to that, the storm itself develops an even more realistic and in-depth characteristic within itself, where it's not just one storm going to minus 150 degrees or Fahrenheit, Celsius, something like that. It's not just one storm, it's a storm that changes with the time period. And I also would like to say that even though it's 1 month that the game lasts for, maybe we could take this thing up to a year or even further, or an unlimited number of years or so, advancing up a tech tree. Or once the tech tree is finished, you're able to add another building or expand the building area. So a few things that I see as minor issues or things that I would like to see them work on and develop: build area is one of them. Ability to use some form of machinery to extend the reach of the civilization, or extending the build area through some form of demolition or excavation machinery, like a new form of automaton or something else like that. Additions of new resources, things like maybe concrete, if it is plausible, or an underground setting where you are able to build underground, or something like a dome, so you're able to construct a dome-like structure over the settlement. I don't think the dome-like structure over the settlement to protect it from the weather might be such a good idea, but maybe it is possible. And then from that dome you are able to extend like a tunnel system, as you have the wall drills. Maybe you can have a specific drill that creates a tunnel that allows you to explore or create a underground location where you can and that could be a way of extending a city. So excavating caves areas through the ice, and then using those areas as a platform to extend the reach of your civilization, or digging into the ice and then excavating it, or using some form of controlled explosion to create a new crater or expand the crater. As I was saying earlier in this video about the ability to excavate using automatons or using natural manpower, and these are some of the things that I've been brainstorming, thinking of. I even went as far as spoke to the developers. I know I shouldn't do the thread like that, but I sent them a message. I've sent them multiple messages about things that I would really like to see in this game, because I'm really for it and it's very interesting to me. Why I messaged them is because I noticed that, you know, as I've been saying for this entire video, the ability to play beyond the storm. So I was thinking that when you accomplish the ability to survive the first iteration of the storm, or the first episode of it, I would say the first storm itself, when you're able to survive it and the game goes off into this thing showing you how you got there, the game should then carry you back into the city that you've developed. And so surviving the storm would be a milestone badge. So you get there and you finish it, and then like, congratulations, now here are some additional set of things that need to be done. So now that you've survived the storm and it's over, everything else that was frozen becomes unfrozen, and maybe the people that you have rescued might have died, and there might be some supplies left over, or you may come across some new structures and you can build new equipment, and heating can be increased to allow the city to actually, in a sense, survive the conditions, and further expand research technology in terms of better insulation, better healthcare systems. All of those things can be implemented. But from what I have been noticing as it relates to the Frostpunk development team, 11-bit studios in particular, when it comes to developing the game and ensuring that the game meets the standards that they want it to meet, almost the same as Star Citizen, but much better in terms of getting things out. As you look on the Steam profile for the game, the news, you're gonna see an update 101, which is good. But what I can tell you from my view of these developers, 11-bit studios, they take the game serious. They take the the community very serious. As I'm noticing, they're not just there are also people in China and elsewhere in Asia that play the game, and you know, looking through the thread there, a whole lot of comments. People from Turkey that play this game. You know, it has a far reach. There is a community developing around it. which is really good. I really like seeing that. But the developers of this game are very in tune with their community, and as can see, because I messaged them earlier on when the game was not there in terms of being released. You know, I saw it and they said, oh, the game's gonna be released at in 2017. I said, alright, when are we really gonna see the game come out? And they were like, I said, okay, alright, cool, you know, it's not gonna be released this year, it's gonna go out next year. But what I appreciated about that is that they didn't just release the game in 2018. They took their time and they pulled it back. They said they were gonna release it sometime early in 2018, and then they said, no what, we're gonna take a little bit more time and push it back a little further. And so they went on to adding new features, automatons that were really expounded on, and they took time to develop additional features, and they made the game into something unique. A city survival game that tests your morality, your beliefs, your ability to rule, critical thinking, everything in one, and shows you that every single decision has a consequence. A game that teaches you and tests your humanity itself. Game like this I've actually never seen in a while, and I've come to really appreciate it. And again, I would like to say thank you to 11-Bit Studios for making such an amazing game. I'll see you guys in the next one. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you hear anything in the background, it's because I'm technically kinda outside, and yes, it's very noisy. See you in the next one.